Hello, this is Caleb Smith, the editor of the Rocket Miner. We at the newspaper have been practicing social distancing, working from home as much as possible, trying to keep a respectful, healthy distance. As part of that, I'm alone in the office right now, which means that I have to press the on button, and if you'll bear with me for but a moment, I'll take my seat and continue with our daily coronavirus update. In local news, local law enforcement, first responders, government, health officials have formed the Sweetwater County Community Resiliency Task Force. Its goal is to prepare and execute plans to better protect the public when it comes to coronavirus, or this current version, COVID-19, which does continue to spread throughout the nation and state. While there haven't been any cases reported yet in Sweetwater County, members want to be proactive, especially when it comes to informing the public. One of the first big steps they've taken toward that is forming a informational website. The address is www.sweetwater311.org. Those last ones are all digits. Everything else is spelled out, but those last ones are digits. Those who go to www.sweetwater311.org can find public health and safety updates. One thing to look for is that the group is meeting and having briefings twice a day, and that right after those are concluded, they'll be forwarded onto the website so people can keep abreast of the latest updates themselves. Coming soon, not quite ready yet, will be a phone number where people can find the same information. The Sweetwater Combined Communication Center is in the process of setting up a 311 informational hotline where people could get the same briefing, just listen to a recording. That's primarily meant for those who may not have the internet, may not be comfortable with the internet, may just prefer to be listening to something on the phone. It'll be the same information. It'll just be another way of being able to learn what's going on and just be able to be a bit more informed when it comes to making personal choices. And other local news, Rock Springs Main Street, our Urban Renewal Agency hosted an informational webinar for downtown merchants, of which the Rocket Miner participated in. The presentation was hosted by Roger Brooks of the Destination Development Association. It had a combination of advice, tips to be supportive of both businesses and the community, and some strong words when it comes to how people should proceed. One of the noteworthy things that came out of the presentation is that Mr. Brooks said that they are advising small businesses to expect at least another 90 days of people hunkering down, spending less time in public, spending less time physically, spending their money in stores, keeping the social distancing, all in the goals of trying to blunt the spread of coronavirus, especially to those, the elderly and compromised immune systems, of which it is frighteningly deadly for that limited slice of the population. If you would add up 90 days from today, that would put the timeline of this financial, societal, economic, fill in all those blanks, upheaval will continue to at least mid-June. Mr. Brooks did note that there are other outlets out there that predict it might be able to be a little bit less. He said that there are some groups that are hoping that the numbers will stabilize by April and we'll be able to get back to a little bit closer to normal than where we presently are. Whether it's going to last a few more weeks, a few more months, or longer, he had lots of general advice, especially for ways to be able to support local businesses and the individuals who form our communities. Among his advice is to be a calming voice or influence whenever possible, especially if people around you are beginning a bit normal. Assure them in the ways that you can that it is that while contagious and while needs to be guarded against, the death toll is much smaller, especially to other places or other diseases that has frightened the populace, such as the Ebola virus or SARS. He encouraged that people go out of their way to stay informed, be knowledgeable of what's going on. Don't necessarily believe something because you saw something on Facebook. Don't necessarily believe it if you saw it anywhere else. Check your sources, check your sites. When it comes to being informed, it's best to try to check it in multiple places. Just because it's posted in one place doesn't mean that you need to immediately believe it and start to panic, especially if it's one of the more frightening tidbits. We at the Rocket Miner get lots of news tips that when we investigate it, we find out the story is maybe not quite as frightening as what people told us that it would be. I strongly encourage that anybody practice the same steps to keep from falling prey to some of this stuff. Other advice is to support local businesses wherever you can. Buy gift certificates, order online or over the phone. Look for ways to contribute to local nonprofits, whether it's donating time, donating money, donating supplies. There's lots of ways to be able to do so. Speaking of local nonprofits, the Loaves and Fishes Soup Kitchen, which can be found in the basement of the St. Cyril Methodius Catholic Church, is making a change to how meals are going to be offered to the public. Even though the services at and masses at the church have stopped, there's still people can still pray at the other Catholic church right now. But starting Monday, the hours will still be the same, and people can still get a meal starting at noon to 1 p.m. in addition to accessing the items from the food pantry. But the soup kitchen is going to switch to-go boxes only. Those who visit the church at 633 Bridger Avenue in Rock Springs, will be able to take home a box with the meal and separately an extra bag with a few items from the food pantry. The idea is to still ensure that people have access to food, especially for having both volunteered there myself and having worked with people who have spent quite a bit of time with the organization. There are many people that this is their only source of food from the day. That might be the one meal that they take that they can count on in times of upheaval. For those who are interested in volunteering with the Loaves and Fishes Soup Kitchen, there's a Facebook page where you can reach out and get information, or people can also call 382-7303, in addition to donating money, donating supplies. The soup kitchen itself notes that there are some items that are regular staples in the past that they're having difficulty keeping on the shelves. Like everyone, they're having a hard time getting pasta products. That seems to be just second to toilet paper for when it comes to popularity, at least when it comes to anecdotes and just what I've personally seen when it comes to blank shelves. These steps are regrettable, but they are necessary considering the current spread of the virus. The Wyoming Tribune Eagle is reporting that cases in Wyoming are now up to 18. That is one less than what the Wyoming Department of Health website currently states, which is 17. But the Tribune Eagle is reporting that there is a case of an adult military member assigned to the F.E. Warren Air Force Base who has a confirmed case of the virus. The reporting stresses that the individual had been traveling from out of state, obeyed current policy when it comes to self-quarantining, and when symptoms began to arise to seek medical help. The newspaper says that the person never came onto the base. Still, if you're looking at the breakdown of cases, both local in-state reporting and the Associated Press currently say that the number of cases of COVID-19 as of press time today are 18 in Wyoming. That's including the 5 in Laramie County, the 5th one that was added today. In the United States, the number has grown to 7,700 and at least 134 deaths. The Associated Press is asserting that worldwide there are more than 200,000 cases and more than 8,700 deaths. When it comes to the case forward, I'd like to liken back to Mr. Brooks' presentation that he gave to those listening to the webinar. One of the things that he began and ended with was stay positive. That doesn't mean stay ignorant. That doesn't mean ignore the bad advice. That does, or the chilling developments, or the things that make you second guess what your actions are. When other people are beginning to panic around you, it is very tempting to go, well, maybe I should do that too. Stay positive. Count your blessings in life, especially since those at home, you have a lot of those things right in front of you when it comes to family, friends, a good warm place to stay, especially with the colder weather coming this week. It's just as good a reason to hunker down as any. But stay positive. We're going to get through this together. It's going to be rough. It has already caused a disruption to life. One of the other things that Mr. Brooks said is that these are the times that we're going to be telling our grandkids about. They're going to be reading about this in the textbooks. My encouragement is to everybody is that to act now so that when later we're looking back at our own actions and even being called to account to tell how we responded to members of our own families, we want to act the way that gives them a good example. And the best way to do that is to say, do what I did, not what I wished I would have did. That's harder to do, but all of us have the capability of doing that. Partnering with the people around us, friends and family, with the local government task force that is being set up, it's experts in the health field who are doing their best to combat disinformation, give people good, solid, actionable facts, local members of journalism, local people who are being generous of others with their knowledge, their supplies, their warmth and care. These are going to be the things that get us through us, and these are the things that make it easier for me to tell you to be positive, because those are the things that help buoy me up. So this has been the Rocket Miners Daily Coronavirus Report. Stay positive out there. And if anything else, laugh at the newscaster who now has to turn off his own camera. This has been Caleb Smith, wishing you a good day and a good evening. Stay positive.